Hello, this is MakerJ11, and today I'm just going to show you some of my tools that I use, because a couple of you guys have asked about that, and I've been wanting to do a video on it for a while. Finally decided to do that. It's hard to tell really which is my favorite tool, or the one I use most. For electronics, definitely my soldering iron. I use that, even not for electronics, I use that for metalwork and things like that, soldering. Like when I made this temperature sensor, I used it to solder the case together somewhat. So I use it for other things too, not just electronics. And mine is a Weller WESD51 soldering station. It's the one with the analog knob, just because I like the idea of it better than the digital. But it's really good. The tip, I have not had to replace it yet. It's not the original tip, but it's one that I bought for it because I didn't like the tip that it came with. It was too pointy, so it's a flatter tip. And I've probably had that for about 6 months, and it's working very well. I like it a lot. It's got a good bit of power, and I like the small pencil. It's really light, and yeah. So that's a good soldering iron. So that's one thing that I definitely use a lot. And if you're going to be doing soldering, you need solder, of course, just random Radio Shack solder. I think that's, yeah. Solder braid if you're going to be doing any desoldering, although I probably use my soldering pump a lot more than the soldering braid. Although you really don't need either of those. You can just do the wiggle method where you just heat up some of the pins, wiggle it out a little bit, and that's the way I usually do it. So flux is something that is definitely very useful. I use it a lot. I use this more. I also have a Flux Pen. I mainly use that for solar panels, though, or solar cells, but this is the flux that I use, and that's good. I spilled it a little bit, that's why it's not very full, so it made a big sticky mess. I like my old-fashioned clippers. Those are something that gets used a lot. They have not gone dull or anything. They are awesome. Good old clippers. I think these are from like my grandpa or something. But these are great. I also have a smaller pair for cutting smaller things, and they work good, but I don't know, I just like the big ones. So, I mean, these are good for little wires and things like that. They're actually starting to get a little bit dull. So, clippers, use those a lot. Wire, needle nose pliers, voltmeter. It's just your average cheap voltmeter from Harbor Freight, $5 meter. They work good, but they burn out really easily. I mean, they're plenty accurate for what I need to do. The leads always break on these things, so I just put alligator clips on and, yeah, go from there. Clamp meter's pretty useful if you're going to be measuring AC current, although some can measure DC, but this one does not. This is just a cheap one. I bought these. They work okay. They're only really for stranded wire. Solid core wire, they don't work at all. Usually to remove the coating off wires, I use my the one I made, which is actually up here. I use this hot wire stripper or just a razor blade, and that's how I usually get the coating off wires. I don't use. We do have one of the ones that you clip it onto the wire and then spin it around, but it's just annoying. I don't like it. Screwdrivers, of course. It's always nice to have a nice sharp, this is actually a voltmeter lead for scratching things and prying little things off. And this is my newest addition to my collection, a caliper. Bought this for $9, Harbor Freight. Works really good. So my first caliper, I've wanted one of these for years and years, but I've never actually decided to get one until now. I saw it for $9, and I was like, okay, I have to get that. So, but yeah, I think it's a 4-inch caliper. So, yeah, $9. Definitely worth it. I'm going to use this a ton. It does inches and millimeters, so really nice. So, it's nice and all steel, stainless steel rather, and it's got a pretty nice case. So that's really nice. Finally got one of those. And then I have my helping hands, which is really nice for soldering as well. Use those a good bit, but I also use clothespins and things like that just to pin components down so they don't move around. Clips like this, they're nice. So that's pretty much all those tools. And then it's always nice to have a pair of tin snips to cut metal if you're going to be doing any metal work. I've got some little screwdrivers, a set of random bit driver, Allen wrenches. These, I love these things. You just grab onto whatever and you can tighten these down. Vice grip pliers, they are awesome. So use a hole punch sometimes for rubber, stuff like that. Hot glue gun. You cannot do without a hot glue gun. Use this a lot. It's kind of, probably needs replaced soon. It kind of got melted by the soldering iron a couple times, and but yeah. So yeah, I also have the hot air works station, which the soldering iron broke, as I showed in one of my videos. After like 2 hours, it just quit working. So I only use the hot air part now, and it really doesn't seem to get hot enough. So I really only use this for heat shrink, so it just kind of takes up space on the desk. I should probably move it somewhere else and just put it on the desk when I need it, because it's just kind of takes up space, but whatever. The hose always gets in the way as well, but I mean, yeah. This voltmeter is really nice. It's actually an HP, and it's got the auto ranging and everything like that. It's really nice. I use that a good bit, so when I need something really accurate, I use that instead of this meter. So yeah, I really like that meter. Yeah, I mean, I've just got basic, standard, cheapest tools you can really buy. I mean, really, you can start out with doing electronics and things like that, buying like the cheapest tools and then slowly upgrade. That's basically what I've done. So I mean, I started out with your standard Radio Shack soldering iron. I kept working up, and now I have a nice soldering station. So I mean, yeah, just over the years you can just keep accumulating stuff. And so yeah, oscilloscope, as I've shown in my other videos, Nicolette Pro 32. It's a really nice oscilloscope. Got that for free from my dad's work. I also have these this little mini analog scope, which is a 214 storage oscilloscope. It's a Tektronix, so it's a nice little oscilloscope. It's actually battery powered, but it's kind of cool little oscilloscope. I have a signal generator, which is just AC, but I use it once in a while for just testing things, and not much though. That's actually another voltmeter, which I don't actually use very much, but it's there. I mean, I really don't. Not really any more tools that I use a lot that I can think of. So I mean, yeah, my shop's a little bit of a mess right now. But yeah, so those are my tools. Hope you enjoyed. That's about it. Thanks for watching.